This show is proud to partner with TrueTechTools.com. You can save 8% off many of the items at their site by using the Shop Talk discount code. Hello and welcome back to HVAC Shop Talk. Yeah, that's the name of my show. For a second there, I was like, what's it called again? I don't remember. Good to see you guys out there chatting away. My name is Zach Ciota, as you can see from the letters on the screen. If you're watching the screen, the letters will tell you. They give a great hint at who I am. I am Zach Ciota. Welcome to our chatters here tonight. I see Will. We have Will. Thank you, Will. Will took the afternoon off to work on his van. Awesome. We have Ted. We have Jonathan. We have Brandon. What's up, fellas? So last show, I realized that I had a new member. I didn't even realize he was a member. So I decided I should go look at the members tab to see who actually is a member so I can thank them, because that is cool. I want to say I appreciate it. So thank you to Mary, Frylock, Chris, Craig, Clint, Joe, Jessica, FCJ, and JPM Barron. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are just the bee's knees. I really do appreciate it. So tonight we're going to talk about some HVAC formulas. We're going to talk about some. I got like a fun game we're going to play. I'm going to call it Impossible Question. So if you want it, you can call in. We're going to give away. Let's see, right there. There's a Beckett condensate pump shirt. It's a polo shirt. We're going to give away one of those. If someone wants to play Impossible Question, call in and try to figure out what's what. It's actually a question from Skill Trade Up. It's one of the hard questions, so we'll take the first person who has it right when that time comes, and it'll be a lot of fun. So what else are we going to do? We can take phone calls as well, do a little bit of phone calls, Impossible Question, and formulas. So first, I'm going to start off with formulas, because everyone loves formulas, and might as well break the ice with some formulas. That's right, guys, and I'm going to hit my formula button. Here it is. So I was looking for like something I could do like little bits and pieces on when we had these shows. And I said, well, we come back to the same formulas over and over again. And it's pretty important to know some of these things. So here we are. We have airflow formula and cooling capacity. And these are pretty much related, because if you can see, we have the very top airflow equation or formula, whatever, is CFM equals BTU sensible divided by delta T times 1.08. Well, if you go down to the cooling capacity, the sensible cooling, heating formula, whatever you're going to talk about here, with cooling, you have a negative delta T, I guess, and then heating, you have a positive delta T, so to speak, if you're going from return to supply. But take a look down at cooling capacity, look at BTU sensible. It's CFM times delta T times 1.08. So it's really pretty simple if you are working on something that doesn't produce, any latent change. Oh man, I just looked down the chat and I realize that Brandon has new internet. I want to congratulate Brandon Brenny from the Midwest, the upper Midwest, for finally getting that super internet. He can actually come on the show, not be pixelated now. It's going to be great, Brandon. We're going to have so much fun together. It'll be a lot of fun, man. So I just can't wait. So we'll get back to this now. So let's say you had, I hate to do this. I can bring up the my calculator on my phone here, but we're going to do like a little mock thing here just to go over how easy it is to get these calculations correct. Even if you're doing like a gas furnace or something like that. We use gas furnace right there because all of our latent or all of our cooling is going to involve some kind of latent. So it's going to go to the equation right below this one. Not the sensible, but the BTU of total. I'm trying to just talk while I find my calculator. Okay, so BTU sensible. So let's say we have a gas furnace. let's say it's pushing out 1,000 CFM. The delta T is 35, so we're multiplying by 35. Then we multiply again by 1.08, and what we have is 37,800 BTUs. And it's just that simple. So if you have those measurements, you can do that. If you get your CFM, and it works in reverse too. So if you have, and you could even kind of guesstimate, if you have an output that you know, and you can work backwards to get your CFM, just like they do in the very top one there for airflow. So it's pretty cool. You can use these quite a bit. This one right here, like I said, is just for sensible. So let's try another one here. Again, we're looking at BTUs equal CFM times delta T, which is change in temperature. Just your dry bulb temperature times 1.08. So let's try 2,000 CFM, like a 5 ton, no 5 ton. Let's be realistic. 1,700 CFM times a delta T of, let's say it gets up to 40, getting a little bit higher, times 1.08. That's 73,440. So with all that, it only equals 73,000. There's furnaces out there that are 115,000, 120,000 residential furnaces. I do believe they go all the way up to 120. You guys can tell me if they go higher than that. I don't see a whole lot of furnaces out there, but perhaps they do. I'm not sure. So even if you have something where like the delta T is higher, which is probably the case. So let's take that same 1,700. So Brandon says 140,000 BTU. So let's take 1,750 and a delta T of 50 times 1.08. So that gets us all the way up to 94,000. So you see that delta gets pretty high because the CFM ain't going much higher than that. So I want to backtrack. I'm kind of curious now because these furnaces are supposed to go to 140. Let's see what it takes to actually do that. So we'll get 1,800 CFM times, let's see, times 60 times 1.08. And that's 116,000. So now we're getting in the neighborhood of these outputs that are really, really high. And you can kind of understand why maybe a lot of these are oversized because that is a lot of heating. That is a heck of a lot of heating. I've never seen a house here that had a zone or a whole house, however it was zoned, whether it's the whole house or a wing of a huge house or whatever. I've never seen one with a capacity that high. I don't think. I shouldn't say that because there's probably one out there I've done, but I don't recall. So that's just one way to use the sensible heat formula. So let's step down one below it. We're not going to do BTUs of latent because frankly, grains per pound is something that we're not going to get into very much on the fly. That doesn't really happen. And I honestly want to study it a little bit more anyway, like how much water comes out of the air, things like that. So before I say something about latent, I want to make sure I do my homework too. So BTU total. So let's say we have a cooling system. Cooling system is, and we're talking about BTUs equals CFM times 4.5 times delta H. So instead of delta T this time, we have delta H. So, and let's go. Brandon says Adam from Overtime talks all the time about downsizing furnaces in Chicago from 80,000 to 40,000. See, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know what the design temperature in Chicago is, but I assume it's somewhere between 0 and 10 degrees Fahrenheit for the wintertime. And even at that lower design temperature, ours is 20, you're still going to have, good grief, it's going to be hard to reach those really high BTU outputs that furnaces come in. They are expecting, and let me come off the screen here, they are expecting, I think, for you to have a very leaky, awful house. And as houses get updated and get tighter and tighter and constructed better and better, I think you're going to have issues with not needing all those huge furnaces, and maybe they'll go away a little bit or be less prevalent out there or just less available, like most of the things now anyway. So it's, oh, Brandon says it's -5. Well, I didn't know it was that low. Okay, so even at -5, that's 25 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than here. It would be very difficult to justify something that's 140,000 BTUs. You're going to have like a palatial estate with one zone to have 140,000 BTUs. It would be incredible. And I don't think it's going to happen here at all. But, you know, we still see it. Because gas packs, and that's a whole different question we could talk about. Actually, let's take a minute here. Gas packs come in fixed sizes. You don't have that variability that you have with a furnace and a coil, because a furnace you can say I want a 80,000 BTU furnace, but I need a 3-ton coil, or I need a 2.5-ton coil, or whatever it is. You can mix and match, or maybe you only need a 40,000 BTU furnace, but you need a 3-ton coil because the loads are different. With the gas pack, you get, because a lot of times you're dealing with whatever brand you sell, you get what they have. So you might have a 5-ton gas pack that comes in 115,000 BTUs and 90,000 BTUs, but you won't have anything smaller. Or you might have a 4-ton that comes in 90,000 and 75,000 or something like that. And it works your way down, so you don't have exactly what you need. So that becomes problematic. I actually ran into a system, oh my gosh, it was a guy who installed his own system. And it was done really, really well. It was like the engineer sort of deal, where the engineer comes in and works on his own stuff, but it's like everything is extremely level. Everything's hung with like a threaded rod hanger. I mean, it's really, really nice, really top notch. But it was 115,000 BTU gas pack, and it just couldn't run. It was 2 stages too. Let me go back and say that it's 2 stages of cooling and heating. I believe it was Goodman or Amana. It was a Goodman product. We had to end up disabling the second stage because it couldn't run in second stage because it was just overheating. It was literally overheating because the ductwork couldn't handle the delta T that I was putting out. It was just getting too hot. I don't know if it was limiting. I don't remember if it was going off on limit, but I remember it was just excessive. And cooling too. It was 5 tons in cooling, and it's pretty rare to need 5 tons of cooling in a house. It's going to have to be a pretty big house, or a house with just no insulation, which does happen. But if you're spending the money to get an air conditioner, usually people are spending money to do a few upgrades, because you can make a few simple upgrades of insulation, even if it's only in the ceiling where you can reach, and rarely you have to get 5 tons out of it. So we had to disable the second stage. So it's just one of those things. It's what you do. It's not perfect, but it's the real world. That's it. Hashtag real world HVAC, guys. Real world HVAC. Which is fine with me. I mean, I enjoyed stuff like that, trying to figure out problems and having atypical solutions. Hey, it works for me. So let's bring this thing back up here. Okay, so we were doing cooling capacity. Let's move on to that. And these are really easy, guys. And this is all over the internet. You can find these everywhere. CFM times 4.5, and that's going to be your total cooling capacity, latent and sensible. CFM times 4.5 times delta H. Now, we've talked about delta H and delta T. Delta T is your sensible temperature. That's like your furnace is taking in 70-degree air and it's putting out 115-degree air. You have a 45-degree delta T. With delta H, you're taking into account that latent cooling that you're going to be doing. It's your total heat instead of just your sensible heat. So with delta H, you're going to have something that either measures relative humidity as well as the sensible temperature, or you're just going to have something that measures enthalpy directly, which is the easiest way to go. That's what I would suggest. There's a lot of things that that can monitor and measure this that are under $100. I don't know if the field piece pin hygrometer does. I know the UEI does. The DTH35, I believe, is what it is. I always liked that one. It was awesome. Under $100, measures enthalpy. You either have to have 2 of them, though, or just move the same one. Probably get 2 of them. And there's a whole lot of the smart probes that measure enthalpy and the field piece stuff. Like I don't remember what it's called. Dual Indux Psychrometer. I think it would do delta H. So you have that delta H, you measure that, or you can calculate it. You can use an app to calculate it from getting other measurements like the Fahrenheit and relative humidity and stuff. You can calculate it, you can plot it out on the psychometric chart, but no one's doing that. Yeah, let's take the psychometric chart to work with us. That sounds like a sexy fun time. So you get your delta H. It's usually going to be, the average, if it's 400 CFM, is going to be 6.7. or so. So if everything's perfect, and let's follow me here. Let's say you have 1,000 CFM, which is typical of a 2.5-ton machine at 400 CFM, and you multiply that by 4.5, and then you multiply that by a delta H of 6.7, you get 30,150. It's just a little bit higher because the actual average delta H would be 6.67 or 6 2/3. We just round up to 6.7. So, what can you assume if your delta H is higher or lower than 6.7? Well, one thing you can assume if you go into a job and you're just measuring enthalpy in and out, just like if you're measuring sensible temperature in and out over a coil and it's higher, instead of a delta H of 6.67, it's 7.5 or 8, getting really, really high. Then you could have a low airflow situation. So you measure your CFM might come out at 350 per ton or 325 per ton. Then you can make adjustments if possible. So you can spot some issues pretty early on. Just like if you know my little relative humidity rule of thumb, like if you have a relative humidity that is in the comfort zone of 50%, 55%, you know your temperature split, sensible, should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. If it gets to be 22, 23 degrees Fahrenheit, you know there's an issue with airflow, most likely. If it's lower than that, it could be excess airflow. If you got some kind of miracle unicorn system that has excess airflow, which it does happen, or there's a failure in the system, like a refrigerant leak or TXV failure, or just some sort of failure that diminishes the capacity of the system. You know, any number of failures can cause that, and any number of things can cause low airflow. But you can spot it pretty easily by seeing what the temperature is across a coil. And it might be one of them things where it's on purpose. You know, a lot of people have these purposeful things they do to get more humidity out of the air. If you have a high relative humidity and you can't get it down, you might lower the blower speed, and that's going to raise your target delta T of delta H and delta T, actual delta sensible. So you could see that be affected by the way technicians have set up a system. And if you have a system that runs at 350 per ton, it's not going to fit this mold exactly either. So there's plenty of systems out there that are high efficiency systems. We talked about it before, that you have to drop it down to 350 a ton. And when you do that, it's going to affect the delta T and delta H. So you're going to have all that stuff come into play. The capacity is going to change. The sensible heat ratio is going to change. And that's just how much sensible cooling is done compared to latent cooling. It changes. You lower the blower speed, you get more latent cooling and less sensible cooling. That's why when you have that really, really hot and humid day, that target temperature drop across the coil goes way down because it's having to treat all that latent load that's in a house. And, you know, I was going to talk about this too, so we'll wrap this up. I have something else I'm going to talk about. Get your opinion on it, guys, and we can talk about that as well. But that's just a couple of the formulas right there, and I think that's a couple of the ones that, you know, it's pretty easy to just run through those real quick, especially the heating one. The heating one's real easy because everybody's got a thermometer. We don't all necessarily have something that can measure enthalpy, but almost all of us have something that measures just standard dry bulb temperature. Even if you take some kind of stupid analog dial or something, you can get a rough idea, especially on a furnace, because the bigger the target is, the easier it's going to be to measure with an analog dial. If you're doing like a air conditioner, it may not be quite as easy because you might be looking at 12 degrees, whereas a furnace, you might be looking at 40 degrees. So if you're a couple of degrees off, it's not a big deal on a furnace. It's pretty close, but on an air conditioner, that could be significant. A significant data malfunction. So something else I was thinking about, and actually we'll get to that in just a moment. I'll take a little break here, and we'll come right back because I'm going to talk about home inspectors. I think that'll be kind of fun. Stick around. See here and see what kind of new products are coming out from Yellow Jacket. You guys have seen me use pretty much all of these so far. The YJack Mano wireless dual port manometer. Guys, been waiting for this thing for so long. You can have your differential static pressure to check your airflow on startup. It's just awesome, and their probes are so good. I enjoy using them so much. The Turbo Recover recovery machine, it recovered, as the kids would say, like butter. It was easy, didn't have any overheating issues. It worked beautifully. It is a DC recovery machine, a brushless motor, cutting edge stuff, and Yellow Jacket makes sure that you have quality stuff every time. The YJack charging and air kit, a charging and evac kit, all the stuff you need, great range, great quality. Just what you would expect from Yellow Jacket. Now, EWC has been a partner of this show for the last 5 years, on and off, and they are the best forced air zoning company that I know of. EWC has quality products, their dampers, their control boards. They've been doing this stuff for a long time. They know what they're doing. Trey's been on the show before. It's been several years since Trey was on the show, but those are the type guys that they have working for them. Sharp guys. When you call their tech support, guess what? You talk to a human being, and that human being also knows his butt from a hole in the ground. And that is Southern talk for he knows what he's doing. They have all the things a contractor needs for forced air zoning. They have top-of-the-line zone panels, from zone panels that work with communicating systems all the way down to more basic panels for every application in every budget. EWC also carries thermostats. They have wireless thermostats, Wi-Fi thermostats, programmable, non-programmable, and everything you would expect a thermostat to be. And don't forget their app. EWC Controls has their own mobile app that's extremely helpful. And of course, you can find out more at ewccontrols.com or email info@ewccontrols.com. All right, here's what I was thinking about is this. So I was thinking about home inspectors, and I have like a really low opinion of home inspectors. I don't know why. I mean, I don't mean anything negative by it, but I guess it does come off negative because it's a negative thing. But I think of them as people who don't know what they're doing, and they're just kind of looking for. I've seen them find a bunch of stuff that was stupid, basically, over my years in the business. I've seen them find things like, oh, there's a big deal here today. This condensate line out here should be run out slightly farther from the house. Well, thank you for that earth-shattering development. I really appreciate that. Or, hey, man, that insulation is slightly ripped. Let's tear this house down and start over. That's sort of my opinion of them. So I was thinking to myself, okay, these guys, they come in here to check out like an AC, but they can't touch anything. I mean, that's what the guy said. We're not allowed to touch anything, and we can't open up panels. So what do we really expect these guys to do? Because they can't really do a whole lot. So I was thinking to myself, you know what they could do is some of this like non-invasive stuff. Because non-invasive, the stuff Measure Quick does, you know, the stuff, because I invented it. You know, I invented it back in the day, guys. Of course, I'm just kidding. That's yeah. No. You could easily come in there and measure with some training. I should put that in there. With some training, measure like the line temperatures, measure the air temperature across the coil, the air temperature, humidity, of course, humidity and temperature across the coil. And you could make some pretty good assumptions about the air conditioner and stand behind it. Because these guys come in here and they look at the air conditioner and they see, A, how old it is, which, you know, old things can run great and new things can run bad. So that's not really solid. I mean, it's, you know, sure, if it's older, it's more likely to break down. But I mean, still, there's a lot of old machines that run beautifully. People take care of them for a long time. They shouldn't be punished for their age. So there's a lot of old machines running really well. And then they check the delta, the sensible delta T across the coil. They put one, and I say across the coil, but it's really from the return grill to the supply grill. So they're checking the duct system too, which on a hot day throws things off as well. And I hear them talk and they say, all right, we need something between 12 degrees and 18 degrees. Okay, there's no reasoning on why that is. It's just a standard that's been given to them. And yeah, it does make sense that 18 degrees is around comfort conditions, and 12 degrees would be a lot of humidity in the air. Most of the time, 12 is way too low. So if they come in there and it's like 12 or 13, the guy's like, all right, we're good. I mean, most of the time, that's not good unless you have a lot of humidity in the house, like the AC hasn't been running a while. But if you were to make a few measurements, like if you measured the return air going in and you said, all right, we're 75 degrees, the humidity is 30%, and now we have 13 degrees across the coil, I would be like, hey, we got a problem here. Either the blower's set up way wrong, I mean, super, super duper way wrong, like way high, or there's an issue with the system. So I think they could do a whole lot better. I know no one's going to do this, but I was just thinking to myself, if one of you guys out there become a home inspector, you could use this and be the finest home inspector that's ever lived. I'm pretty sure you could use this information because you can't measure anything electrically, I don't think. Unless things have changed, these guys always used to tell me they can't open up panels and stuff. It would be nice if they can open up panels and work on electrical stuff. There's nothing they can't do. Their powers are unlimited to solve all air conditioning problems. But at the very least, they could check that out. Because measuring the air temperature, no one's going to say you can't do that. And you can find most issues related with that part of the system if you're pretty diligent about measuring air temperatures and line temperatures. If you have a line going back to the compressor that's 80 degrees, that's not normal. That's way too high. You're going to have a compressor in danger. Or if the line coming back to the compressor is 38 degrees, you know there could be an issue with airflow. The blower might not be working. Coil could be slowly freezing up because of another issue. Pretty easy to find that out. Just a little bit of training. Let's see. Ryan Chadwick says, a house on a rock is good in Richmond. Hey, man. I like it. Comfort Solution says, what's up, fellow deplorables? Hey, what's up, man? I'm a deplorable. So are you. Brandon Brenny says, for the same price, you could have a carpenter, a plumber, an electrician, and an HVAC guy come in, look, and actually find stuff. Hey, that might be true. I don't know how much they charge for home inspections, but it's probably a few $100. You're right. So you probably could get at least a couple of those guys out there just to do like a once-over and find more stuff with just a couple guys. If you have an HVAC guy, I mean, it's almost like having a built-in electrician. So you just get the HVAC guy and the plumber, and actually, we're almost like plumbers too because we actually do all that stuff. So really, if you have an HVAC guy, just look at the whole house, probably be fine. Because our trade does do all the stuff. You know, we have knowledge that's wide-ranging. So, I mean, we could actually do all the stuff. I'm just saying. Okay. Let's have some fun for a minute. All right, here's what I'm going to do, guys. Now, home inspection is $500? Holy crap. Yeah, you could. That's way too much. Jeez Louise. I haven't seen a price that elevated since I went to the pig today. The Piggly Wiggly, that is. And we were shopping, and I saw that the lima beans have gone up to almost $2 a can. That's deplorable. That's deplorable. Deplorables wouldn't have had that. Doug, where are you? Deplorables, if we had our way, that would not be happening, Doug. It would not be happening. And Doug knows what I'm talking about. It would not be happening. We would have lima beans for 50 cents a can. But I digress. Here we go. Here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to put the number on the screen. Don't call yet. I'm going to put the number on the screen so you have the phone number. Okay? You can dial the number and just not hit send. Just dial the number, but don't hit send because I have to ask the question first. Then the first person after I get done with the question, if you call before, then, your SOL sounded out, and you won't be able to win the cool Beckett shirt we have right back there. So guys listening to the podcast, catch this thing live and you can win yourself a Beckett shirt. And they're pretty sweet looking. I've already got one that I'm going to apprehend on behalf of myself. So, and I think Beckett will want that. Beckett wants you to wear they want me to wear it on the air so the word gets out about Beckett. So that's the reasoning right there. All right, so here's the question. All right, you got the number, 910-970-0043. Here is the question. Let's see if you can see it. Which HVAC brand released a 360 cassette air handler with bladeless design? Is it A, Mitsubishi, B, Toshiba, C, Samsung, or D, Gree? Once you answer, you only get one try. One try. So if you want to call in, try to answer this, win yourself a Beckett shirt, you do it. All right, we do have a caller calling in. He stopped. He just hung up. Man, what are you doing? You could have won. You could have won, dude. Chadwick. You could have won, man. All right, first person to call in here. Which HVAC brand released a 360 cassette air handler with bladeless design? It's a 25% chance anyway. Ryan, good night from Trinidad and Tobago, man. Look at you. You're all the way across the world, man. That's sweet. All right, if you want to win a shirt, 910-970-0043. 910-970-0043. All right, I'll put it up on the screen again. I'll take the question down so you can see the number. If you want to call in, hey, if no one wants to win it, that's fine. We'll save it for next time. I'll give you a minute. I know someone will, Brandon will call in just like, if no one's going to call in, I'll try. Or maybe not. Come on, Brian, call back in. You can do this, man. So this is a interesting question. If I hadn't have done specific podcasting work, I would not know this. Which HVAC brand released a 360 cassette air handler with bladeless design? You guys could have Googled it by now. Could have Googled it and had it. Got 30 more seconds if we're going to move on to the next and final segment. Next and final segment will be just me going, man. Can't believe no one wanted that shirt. A tear streaks down my cheek, drops upon the floor. Humidity. RJ says, I was going to say Mitsu before you said Toshiba, before you said Samsung, before you said Gree. Yep, it's they all sound right, don't they? Whenever you say them there, they all sound like, oh, it could be that one. Could be that one. But, like I said, 25% chance, just give it a shot. Oh, we do have a caller. All right, yay. Hello, you're on the air.
How you doing? My name is Nick. I've actually was on the air before one time when I was on this questionnaire thing.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you actually played?
Not today, but it was a while back. I was on one of those Who Wants to Be a Millionaire questionnaires a while back.
All right, so what, did you win?
Unfortunately not. I made a stupid mistake of not realizing that a tachometer is pretty universal in its meaning.
Oh, tachometer. I remember this. That wasn't too long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so, all right, so you heard the question. It's which HVAC brand released the 360 cassette air handler with bladeless design? Do you know which one it is?
Absolutely.
Which one is it?
That is the Samsung.
Man, you were right on the money. You didn't lose this time. You got it.
Thing.
You got it down pat this time. So okay.
Yeah, actually, that was honestly a guess. The only reason I picked Samsung was because they're so innovative with new technologies to begin with, and pretty much all their brands, except for LG with TVs.
I tell you what, that right there is logic. You used logic and you won because of it. So that's really, really good. And if I didn't interview Jose De La Portilla, I would never know that myself because he's the one who told me about it and I would have never even heard of it.
Right.
Awesome. So, dude, you won the Beckett shirt. So just HVAC Shop Talk at gmail.com. Send me your address and your shirt size. I think they go down to at least large, maybe medium, and all the way up to 3X. So that's what you're working with. Just send me your size and your address and I'll send it out to you.
Okay, you said that's HVAC Shop Talk at Gmail?
At gmail.com. Yep, that's right.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Yeah, man. And also, you can just text this number, too, if you want to do that. That might be even easier. So.
Oh, that actually might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have the number already because you just called me. So you know you
absolutely.
Have
Very
all right,
cool.
Man.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'll talk to you again sometime.
All right, bud.
Later, dude. All right, man. We gave away a shirt. We did it. That's awesome. All right, cool. A lot of fun. All right, we'll take one last break. We'll wrap things up for tonight. I'm trying to stream a little bit more often, guys. I enjoyed it. I was doing it more often before, but then we had our awful thing last month, and the awful thing clouded everything up for ever, it seemed like, and put us into a depressed state. So now we're back. We're ready to have fun, ready to have a good time, and I'm glad you guys are coming along with me. So take a quick break, and I'll be right back. So Navac's been a partner with this show for a long time as well, and the new break-free power tube expander, the NT11L, is now on the market. I have it in my hands here at the shop. I released a video on it. You can find out more there on the YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, please go do that. If you have any questions about this product, I'm here for you guys. If there's something you want to know, I will find out, I will test it, and I will let you know. I tried to find out several things about the product. We measured the piping size before and after the expansion. We timed the expansion. It's a cool tool. I really enjoyed it, and they have a ton of great stuff coming out of Navac. Battery powered. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if I said that. It's a battery powered tool that goes along with their battery powered flaring tool, battery powered vacuum pumps. As you can see, they are breaking free from cords. They're also taking things that were not powered and making them powered just to make your life easier. You can find out more at navacglobal.com. We were talking about Company Cam, and here they are. The only app every contractor needs. You snap pictures, you're saved in a company feed. Your whole company is plugged in and know what's going on each job site. The boss man knows what his guys are doing. The guys know what each other are doing. You don't have project managers disconnected from their crews. Everybody's put together. You can store the photos. You sync them. You can share them. You cover your butt and you stay plugged into each other. And it works with Jobber. So there's two sponsors right here that work together to help make your company a better company and give you back some of your life so you can spend time with your family, your friends, your dog, your gerbil, whatever. Companycam.com, getjobber.com/shop talk. Okay, so I was mistaken about something. I was looking down in the chat here, and it said, and I'll get to some of the other comments as well. James said, "It's not that far away. Trinidad and Tobago. I hope I'm saying it right. Tobago. It's closer to you than California." And in my mind, I don't know what I was thinking about. I think I was thinking about Tripoli being in Africa and thinking it was all the way in Africa, and total brain fart here. So no, he's absolutely right. And I'll show you guys here through technology. Here we are. So I'm right here, as you can see, the little blue deal. And yeah, that's right. So here's Alex in Puerto Rico. There's Brian Orr. There's most of everyone who listens to this show, seems like. And but he's absolutely right. Actually, it's closer than California. So just in my own defense, I was sort of thinking about Tripoli, which I thought was in Libya. Yeah, Tripoli. I don't know why I thought of that. And as you can see, Tripoli would be very far away. But Trinidad and Tobago, well, that's just, that's very close. And probably ravaged by hurricanes. So there you go. I learned something today about geography. I didn't know I was stupid. I was thinking of a whole different country, guys. So I appreciate that. JPM Barron says, "A realtor had me come in before because a house inspector said the gas line needed to be bonded because of cast tubing. When I got there, I didn't find any. Oh, CSST. I was like, what? CSST. Turns out it was range connector. Well, I've been sent out for all sorts of stuff for home inspections. And I was also, there was a realtor I work with, her company. It's like a whole team of realtors. And I always checked out the house all, right before they would sell one or when they were buying one, and I would be the guy who checked out the house. Sometimes even before there was a home inspection. Sometimes I'd get a list of stuff. Sometimes it'd be like, is this thing worth it? And sometimes they'd have me fix something or change it out or something like that. So it would depend on what I would find. And they actually would do pretty good. I mean, if I told them something was wrong, I mean, we'd switched some systems out and everything before. Ted says, tired of constantly fixing that busted AC unit. I think that's like an advertisement. Are you tired of constantly fixing a busted AC unit? Replace it with a Tronier, a French Tronier unit. The Tronier 20i has 7 compressors in it. 7 orange compressors that go in series for 7 steps of modulation. I should really make that. That sounds really good. I'm about to buy a train just from saying that. Ted said that ad played 3 times. I don't know what ad that is. I get YouTube Premium because I'm on here so much doing stuff for the podcast that I've had it for so long. Yeah, I don't know, Ted, 7 compressors. I don't know. Since Ted is in the chat too, it's great. I could save myself a text here. Ted, I was hoping to meet Ted last week. Right? Last week. Yeah, last week. Because I was going to his neck of the woods and I couldn't. Something came up and I forgot to tell you about it, Ted. But I will be back, and it won't be too long before I am back, and I will be meeting you. I looked up your address. I'm going to drive to your house because it looks really nice. It's on the corner right there, and yeah, it looks like it's in a really nice part. I went to a part of Greenville, which is on the northern side, and it was not nearly as nice. So I drove in and. We drove in on, I guess, 385. We go into 385, which kind of deadheads into like a downtown area. And then we went north. And then as you went north in Greenville, it gets less and less appetizing as far as wanting to live there because it looks really bad. Everything is like a Dollar General. There's like a bunch of Dollar Generals. There's some pawn shops and stuff like that. I could just say, I don't want to be outside at night here. But Ted's neighborhood looked really, really good. Yeah, well, we had to go that direction. It's a very long story, which I'm not going to explain on the air of why we were actually there. But Ted, when I see you, I would like to tell you that long story because I think it will be interesting to tell you, because we're going to be back there quite a bit. So we'll be back in Greenville, and probably not, maybe next month or so. Maybe next month or so. So hopefully get to come back, have a good time. We had a good time while we were there. It was really, really nice. The parts of it that weren't the northern part. We did go to the, my gosh, now I can't remember. My wife goes to the same stores all the time. Burke's outlet store. It's like discount clothes. She loves to go to Burke's, Burlington. She stops at all these places, and she always, it's Comfort Solutions, like, it's a Democrat utopia. Dad says, I'll show you or tell you a few more places to go that are better. Yeah, I'm sure you know some much better places, and we did go to some other places. Like, we went downtown. I know this is HVAC related, guys, but the show's wrapping up, so you know what I'm saying? So we went downtown. We went to the suspension bridge, walked across that. We wanted to go see that because we saw some pictures of it. And it's really, really nice. It was really humid outside, so it would have been nice in the fall to go down there, because it's really neat, because you have this really nice, like, forest area with this nice park, and then it goes right into the downtown area. It's actually a really attractive place. It was really cool. My son did find a river rock that he wanted to go step on, and got his pants all wet, and then got a bunch of dirt all over him, which I said, hey, that's just like me. There's a picture of me as a kid when I used to live in Wilmington, sitting inside of a hole, running water in that hole in a big pile of mud. I would do that like every day, and I loved it. That's utopia. That's my utopia right there. It's not as far away as Trinidad and Tobago. It's right around the corner. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. We talked about some formulas, sensible heat formula, total cooling capacity. Hope you got something out of it. Anything you want to see in particular, we can talk about. I'll try to take some more phone calls, try to get some more guests back on here. I really am getting my footing back after going through something that was relatively severe over the last month, and just a lot of damage psychologically. Just to be honest with you, it's something where went through something and you never know it. Well, it's hard to explain. Let me see if I can explain a little bit better than that. When you go through something and you might, it's very difficult to explain this, guys. It really is. You think you're going to react some way if something happens, and when it happens, you had no idea. That's what it's one of those type of things, one of those life things. And it threw me for a loop, and it had me where I didn't even want to go live. I couldn't hit the button to do it. I don't know why that is. I mean, this has nothing to do with that, but just I just couldn't do it. And I'm glad to be back, and I'm enjoying myself, and I feel like I haven't missed a beat now, and it's what I love to do, so I'm glad to be doing it. But I tell you what, it was weird. No closet case. No, it wasn't closet case. It was something. It was dark, Doug. It was dark, and it was bad. But I'm glad it's over, or I think it is. So, guys, thank you for joining the show tonight. My name is Zach Ciota. This is HVAC Shop Talk. I will be back. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow or not. Maybe. I was doing, like, when I first started doing these lives a few months ago, doing them 4 days a week. I don't know. I'll do them whenever I can. I'll try to give you heads up, but the heads up sometimes, it's like a couple hours. We have the email list you can join. You can find that in the description. At the end of any of the videos that we're releasing now, there's a link to it. So you can check it out there, and I'll email you before the show starts. Email you a link. The text thing was crapping out on me, so I couldn't use that. So email was the best way to go. If you have anything you need, anything you want talked about, just let me know. I mean, you guys steer the show. I find some stuff to talk about. Then you guys bring in whatever you want. So, Bad News Monk, thank you. I appreciate that, man. I don't know. And I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name. Gussoid. Gussoid. Awesome show. Hopefully I can catch you live next time. Yeah, just hit that email list. I'll email you before the show gets started. At least give you like an hour heads up. And it's you should be able to find it in the description. If you can't find anything, guys, you can always email me at hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. You could text me at the number on the screen here. Let me see. Let's put it back up. You can text me at this number right here. This is a U.S. number for those of you who might be outside of the U.S. I don't know what you have to do or if you can even text, but you can surely email me. So either way is fine. Let me know what you need, What can I do to help you? And I'll try to do that. My name is Zach Ciota. This is HVAC Shop Talk, and I'll see you guys on the next one.